On this episode, we are back answering questions from the Main Street Magic community, and this is our 21st installment. Today is May 24th, 2024, and this is episode 670 of the Main Street Magic podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. If you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. If you're planning your trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World, you did not get the dining reservations that you were hoping for so desperately. Don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. And yes, this really does work. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. Then if you're getting ready to plan that next trip to Disney or Universal, you're looking to go on a cruise or pretty much travel anywhere else in the world, head out to mainstmagictravel.com and fill out a form for a free quote. Our travel services are completely free to you. So we're going to have a fun episode today. We always enjoy the question and answer episodes. So this is coming off of 6 consecutive trip reviews.
So this will be nice and refreshing.
A little more relaxed. We had a 3-parter for our Main Street 16 and Poly trip. We had a 3-parter for our Disney Magic cruise.
And everything's just crazy, I feel like.
It is. Summer. It's summer.
And kids don't really want to go to school. I think they're going tomorrow. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on. I know that we are celebrating Lacey being done with Mill Creek that she has been at for 10 years.
Yes. We will have 2 high schoolers next year.
Yes. So that's where I feel like there's just been a lot.
It is. And we've got a crazy
lot on the
summer.
brain.
Yeah. We got a lot coming up. So don't worry, there'll be plenty more trip reviews.
Yeah, we're going to Typhoon Lagoon starting
Saturday.
Tomorrow, if you're listening to this.
Coronado Springs. We're going to check out Dreams That Soar, the new drone show at Disney Springs. Super excited for that.
Stitch and Angel.
Yes, we do got to get the latest attack snacks. So a lot going on. So today will be fun. These are your listener questions as they came from Facebook, a couple from Twitter, I believe. So we're going to break this into this episode and next because we are going to get a little bit ahead of the game as we try to sometimes. And sometimes it doesn't always work. But we will start.
It almost didn't today.
No, we'll see. We'll start with Pat Clark. She said, if you could only choose one other Disney park to go outside of the U.S., so Disneyland, we still get to go there, which other Disney park would you go to and which ride would you be most excited to go on? Do you have a specific Disney park outside of the U.S.?
Of course, I always do.
What's yours?
Disneyland Paris.
That's your number one.
It really is, I think. Because,
Where it's located?
Yeah. And I think that would just be freaking cool.
What do you want to ride there?
Well, because I've never been, I was actually looking them up because Jeremy was kind enough to let me look at these before he just sprung them on me. And I actually think I'd like to do Avengers Assemble Flight Force.
Okay. That used to be their rock and roller coaster, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming most things are like Big Thunder Mountain's there. Mm-hmm. Of course, I'd like to ride that. Tower of Terror's there. Mm-hmm. I'd like to do that. And I was looking at some other ones and I was like, ooh, let me see this one. And I was thinking it might even be something similar to what we already have.
Yeah.
But it looked fun and rock and roller coaster. Yeah, I'm down.
I can tell you, I think out of the parks outside of the U.S., the one that is most accessible to us and that we will most likely visit first outside of the U.S. is probably Paris.
Because of going to see Gary?
That I just getting there and back is a bit easier. The park is much more accessible as far as what there is to do because there's not a ton. They're redoing all of the studios park over there pretty much. Again, it's not this massive undertaking, I feel like, as much as where I would love to go, like Tokyo. Right? Yeah. And brand new Fantasy Springs is over there with all new rides, a whole new Frozen Kingdom There's a
Wow.
whole
See,
Land
I'd love to
After
go there,
Tangled
100%.
and Rapunzel, that ride, those
Oh my
animatronics look
goodness.
ridiculous. Peter Pan, Neverland is over there. Have you seen the
No.
footage
No.
from the Tangled ride?
No,
And from
see,
the,
that's why I had to look up Paris because
yeah.
I don't know the things like you do.
And the Frozen ride is unbelievable. Now, both of the Frozen ride and the Tangle ride are retellings of the movie. So
Okay.
it's not an extension of just say Frozen Ever After. It's not an extension in when you're thinking of something like Nemo and Friends. It is much more a retelling the way that Under the Sea is with Little Mermaid here in Magic Kingdom. But there is the scene when Elsa and Anna, when Anna is frozen and Anna melts, all done in front of your face with an animatronic that will blow your mind.
Are you serious?
It's crazy. Like I'll have to show you the
Wow.
video of it. I've been analyzing with David and Logan along with the rest of the world, like how they pull this off because
Wow.
it's just unbelievable. So
That's awesome.
I think that's my number one. I mean, Tokyo for me and like Disney Sea, all of that I think is where I want to visit the most.
Right.
Mystic Manor in Hong Kong. I would love to see. That's their version of Haunted Mansion.
Yes.
Which is a very different take on that. I would absolutely love to visit. But yeah, if I had to pick one, I'm going to Tokyo. And
Nice.
I'm riding everything. So Pat also asked if Universal or possibly Disney created a park in Canada, what themed rides would you hope they include? She said, for example, a Brother Bear ride or a ride themed around a cowboy. Duke Kaboom is Canadian. I
Yeah.
believe, right? From Toy Story 4. That I would love to see a whole Duke Kaboom area or
Oh, that'd be awesome.
a stunt show like
Yeah.
Lights Motor Action
Yeah.
that used to be at Hollywood Studios.
Wow.
So I think that would be really good. But the number one thing that I would want to see in a Canadian theme park would be a Marvel area focused around Deadpool. Because Ryan Reynolds is Canadian.
Okay.
Deadpool is Canadian to me. Logan, during a theme park shuffle, actually redid, I think it was Canada Far and Wide,
Mhm.
which makes sense, with a Deadpool versus Wolverine show.
Wow.
Like 360 show. And this was before we knew Deadpool and Wolverine was going to be Deadpool 3, the new movie.
Did Logan know stuff?
No, Logan's just that good. So it's one
Wow.
I don't remember the exact episode number that it was in, but there aren't a ton of theme park shuffles, and we're hoping to bring it back. But it's amazing, of course. Anytime that Logan does anything, it's incredible. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, go back and find that one and listen to it because I would love to see that brought there. I don't think it needs to be anything strictly like 100% Canadian. I mean, I do think anything like she said with like Brother Bear ride would be great in there. I think
Or like
Fox and the Hound. Like I'm thinking of woodsy things.
Brave, like
Brave.
a whole like
Yeah, Brave would actually be fitting, even though it's
Yeah.
not Canadian.
yeah.
But I think the setting and all would fit in a Canadian atmosphere, I guess we could say.
Could even have like a Brave like mess hall like where they
Mhm.
eat like
that would be good.
yeah.
The thing with that is you would have to put such a large focus on indoor rides and activities based on the weather. You know, that's the whole thing is, I mean, so much of it would have to be indoor driven. So even things like a coaster, you know, if you did some sort of cowboy coaster, which would make sense, then, or Mounties, right? This would
Yeah.
be a good one, like a Canadian Mountie ride of some sort, pursuit coaster or something. I feel like it would have to be all indoors for the most part so that it could be open
I
year
feel
round.
like you're right. I
is the
mean,
problem.
right.
Yeah. So that's what I think you'd have to go. But Duke Kaboom is the first thing that comes to my
That's cool.
mind. And I'm not even that big a fan of that character. I don't know why. I'm just not. I think the reason I'm not a huge fan of Duke Kaboom's character
Uh-huh.
is honestly because it didn't get enough justice. I think Duke Kaboom was introduced in he was introduced in Toy Story 4 and kind of stole the show. And then that was it. You're like, well, I want more. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather Duke Kaboom was not in Toy Story 4. I would have rather it had been a very small part that turned into like an entire movie or a Disney Plus series. Like, where did
Okay.
Duke Kaboom come from as a toy? Tell that entire history throughout.
Yeah.
You know, and I know they touch
Yeah.
on it some, but that, and then again, have an entire
Wow.
action motor. What was it? What the heck was it called?
Lights,
Lights action motor, right? Motors, something like that. Motors, like it was those three words and something. But I miss I miss that about Hollywood studios.
Yeah.
A lot. I miss the behind the scenes type stuff like that. And we'll never get it back. So, all right, let's move on to our friend Olivia. She said, how do you think Walt would react if he saw Epcot today? Those ones to me are always so interesting because, like, people always say, all right, what would Walt think? One, we have no idea.
Right.
Two,
first of all, one, I would think, well, you're right.
Right now. Let's wait until after June 10th when all the rest of the walls come down and Epcot is much more full again.
Right. But I mean, like you said, right now, we don't really know. I mean, he had such a brilliant mind. I think with some of the things, he would be blown away.
Yeah.
But I also think he'd be like, oh, that's stupid. That doesn't belong there. But I don't know.
I think individually, he obviously would be blown away by things like Cosmic Rewind, about the technologies, about World Showcase as a whole. I think he would be blown away by what World Showcase is and how well it encapsulates these different countries and cultures. But as a whole park, I kind of think he might be like, what is this?
Yeah.
This is not, and especially now. You're talking today. Now, when Epcot opened in 82, I think he would have been like, this, it's understandable. This is the most you could bring my vision to life. You know, and this isn't going to be a prototype community of tomorrow. It's not going to be a place where people actually live and work and all of that, you know, like his original idea. But I think he would understand, all right, that was a little bit of a tall task right now. As a theme park, this is what I wanted. Right. You know, it was educational through and through.
Yes.
The technology was groundbreaking at the time. I do believe today he would think, what the heck?
Yeah.
Is this is cool, but this is nothing like what I envisioned or wanted with this second theme park in the area. I mean, much of the same way was Eisner opened MGM Studios, brought MGM Studios to life. Look at how different Hollywood Studios is than MGM. What does he think today? You know, I mean, anybody that
and
brought
he's
to
still
life,
living, right?
Yeah, anybody that brought MGM Studios to life, what do they think of Hollywood Studios? That would be a fair question as well.
It would be.
You know,
Let's
now
ask him.
Magic Kingdom, completely different. I think Walt would see Magic Kingdom and be like, boom, this is it. This is exactly what I envisioned. This is a larger Disneyland, including a castle. You'd probably be like, look at this castle. This thing's amazing. It's huge. What is that? What's that one I built?
Could you imagine him like staying in?
I can't even imagine
like
him seeing
Cinderella's
Magic Kingdom.
Cinderella's
the suite,
Cinderella's castle in the royal suite.
Be incredible.
Like
and that's where I kind of go back to when we first answered this question is, you know, we have no idea what he would think because of what wasn't available. I mean, again, ask your grandfather what he thinks of the mobile phone. You know what I mean? Like,
correct.
I just called a mobile phone.
You sure did.
What am I, British now?
I was going to say, what are you, a grand? Yeah. You're not a grandfather.
I do drink decaf coffee after dinner. I might have a decaf coffee after dinner tonight. I'm telling you.
Okay. At Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, Texas Roadhouse.
If we're going with Lacey,
that's where she wants to go.
She's picking.
Yeah. No, I do think it's such a hard question to answer because, you know, in Walt's mind, did he even envision something like a Rise of Resistance, a Tron, a Cosmic Rewind? Like, in his mind, did he think, you know, 50 years from now, 60, 70, 80, 100 years from now, I bet something could exist like Rise of the Resistance? Or was that not even, you know what I mean?
Again, that's another great question to ask. Like even my dad, like I feel like I want to call my dad and be like, Daddy,
how do you like the way Epcot turned out? Was it much to your vision?
No, not that one, but the phone, like going back to the cell phone.
Right.
And, you know, when he was younger, because when I was younger, they didn't have them. They had car phones and stuff. And then they started, and I would be really curious, like, Daddy, when you were young and you literally had to talk on a phone in your house.
When our parents were our age,
yeah.
and if you were able to say to them at that time,
did you like?
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
How would you like 20 years from now having the entire world heck, the entire universe in your pocket at any given time.
Right.
They might be like, that sounds awful. No, I don't want that ever. You know what I mean? But that's their vision when they're that age.
Right.
So it's the same thing with Walt.
Right.
You just have no idea
Correct.
what he would think.
Yeah.
He could see something like Rise of Resistance and be like, no, this isn't what I wanted at all. You know, I don't want screens combined with, motion, this trackless, ride system that, like, I don't know. You really don't know. He might think this isn't what I envisioned. I wanted something that was much more like this instead. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something you never get to know. That's why when everybody usually asks the question, I don't think it comes up this time, is, if you could ask Walt one question, what would it be? And my question always has been, how do you like how everything turned out?
Right.
I mean, same thing.
And it's still changing. I mean, imagine
100 years from now.
100, yeah.
Here's another question for Walt.
Or 300 years from now.
How do you feel about Deadpool versus Wolverine?
Oh, he would probably, as they say, he's rolling over in his grave.
Would he say absolutely not? This should not be under the Disney name. Disney should not be mentioned in the movie, which it is.
Right.
Like, would he think that, or would he think, wow, look at what this has become? You know what I mean? It's so hard to know.
I know.
Plus, he's from such a different time period. If Walt Disney was born 20 years ago, it's a completely different story.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, I think those questions are they're always so good. They're so interesting. Alicia asks, is Mickey's Christmas party worth it, or would an added park day be a better option? A family of 4 with kids 8 and 9 at time of trip. What do you think?
I want to say it's Mickey's Christmas party is 100% worth it.
In place of a park day?
No.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying is, all right, you've got one day you're deciding what to do with. Are you going to add a full regular park day?
No.
Are you going to add a Mickey's
Christmas party?
I agree. 100%.
Yeah.
And I would say the same thing about Halloween party.
Yep.
And you never do both on the same day, unless you're an annual pass holder, obviously. But I would never do a paid ticket on a day that you're going to do that. So to me, it's always a one or the other. I do. And I just was saying this to somebody online recently because they were asking about Mickey's Not So Scary.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing about, well, do we do a park day? Do we do Not So Scary? I'm like, look, that's your day to relax during the day, and enjoy the resort, whatever it may be. Go to Disney Springs, have a nice lunch somewhere at a resort, and then go to the party that night. And, when you're looking at a price of, $169 to $189 or whatever it is for a party ticket, compared to the price of a day ticket. Now, I think it's different if somebody said, we're there for 4 days and we're deciding whether to do Magic Kingdom as a park day or do a party at night, and they're not going to do Magic Kingdom another day. I would go for the park day so that you can get all of Magic Kingdom. You know what I mean? Okay. As opposed to if you've already got Magic Kingdom on your trip and you're already planning to go there for one of your days, and this is like an additional day, then 100% do the party. Yeah. There's just something about it. And, again, I would then, if you're going to spend that money, Alicia, on the party, do the party things. Yeah. I have never been a fan of using the Halloween and the Christmas parties as a chance to ride rides with shorter wait times. I think that's a waste of money. You might as well go ahead and do a regular park day and spring for Genie Plus and get your individual lightning lanes and spend your money that way, because you're missing out. Yeah. Now that's what after hours are for. After hours party, 100%. That's what you should be going for. You should go specifically to ride rides with shorter waits, but I don't think you should waste your time. Yeah. Now there's a couple rides like Space Mountain, that does the overlays. Yes. Pirates during Halloween. Yes. Yep. Haunted Mansion is a must-do at Halloween, obviously. You don't get as much with Christmas as far as some of those overlays. But you did on Space Mountain, remember with the green and red lights and all? Yep. Which we didn't even know when we rode the one time. All right, we're going to move on to Skylar. It says, what's the best place to eat a meal inside Universal Studios or Islands of Adventure?
Mythos.
I will agree.
I started to say.
I will agree
I'm
with
like,
Mythos.
are you going to not agree. I thought you
No,
weren't.
I
was
love
like, yeah, I do
Mythos.
too. It was great. The last time we had a really good
We did.
meal, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, Mythos is outstanding as far as a sit down goes, and that's in the island side. Out on City Walk, I mean, it's right there, so I think you bring that in. You know, we've always enjoyed Cowfish.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you can get that nationwide.
And the Italian place.
And Vivo
Oh.
is unbelievable.
So good.
Vivo's my favorite restaurant at Universal Orlando that we've eaten at.
Really?
Hands down.
Nice.
Hands down. It's my favorite Italian restaurant. Well, I might have to fight with our local one after we just ate there the other weekend,
Yeah,
which
that was
was
really good.
unbelievable. But yeah, Vivo's outstanding. Confisco Grill's actually really good.
Mhm.
We've enjoyed that several times. Over on the studios side, as far as sit downs go, I honestly don't know that we've sat down at the.
Just come back over.
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
I mean,
that we've
it's
sat
so
down on the studio
close,
side.
or
I know.
and then there's all the places at City Walk.
Yeah,
I mean,
Toothsome. Well, I don't think the food's that great. It can be a must
It's
do.
not been
especially
bad,
if you've got
though.
kids. No, not bad at all.
So,
But Toothsome is one that you are going much more for the experience
the
than
desserts
you are the
are
food. The desserts are
amazing.
great, but you're going more for the overall experience.
Yeah.
We actually like NBC Sports Grill.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vivo at City Walk. I would definitely do Mythos over at the island side. And studio side, yeah, I don't know. We seriously
like
haven't
I
sat
said,
down.
just walk back.
Yeah, I would just walk back out.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our buddy Clayton. And he asks, what would be the ideal one-day trip for you? How about a 2-day trip and pretend you only come to Disney once a year or so?
Oh,
So let's think of this. I know
Goodness.
we're not, we say how we're not checklist people, right? Like we don't
Right.
believe in having a checklist that you have to mark off and let that, I mean, we believe in having a checklist to mark off. We don't believe that checklist should determine whether your trip was a success or not.
right.
But let's kind of treat this right now in that manner where a 1-day trip or a 2-day trip, what are your must do's? All right. So let's go one day trip, 1 night trip, 2-night trip. Where's your staying? Like what's your must do as far as resorts? Let's start there.
The boardwalk area, probably.
Boardwalk area. So anywhere you would stay in the boardwalk area. Why? What's your must do's? What are you encapsulating in your one? Remember, this is only a 1 or 2 day.
Right. I'd want to go to Hollywood Studios, and
Okay.
then you could skyline from Studios. Well, no, because you could go to because I'd probably want to do Studios, and I'd probably honestly want to do Magic
Yeah.
if it's just 1 or 2 days, and I
you're
don't
only
come
going
very
once a year.
often.
I think Magic Kingdom is an absolute must.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go to Disney World and you don't go to Magic Kingdom,
So
you're
then
doing it wrong.
maybe the Magic Kingdom resorts,
And then you could tie in Epcot if you're going to do a park each day.
right, or Hollywood.
But you're thinking of resort based
I'm
on
thinking-
location. Are you spending time at the resort? Because you've only got a day or two is my thought. So like for me, a yacht and beach is a waste
Correct.
unless you're going to spend one of those days at the pool.
Right.
And if you are, then I question why you're bothering to spend all this money to come to Disney World and
Right.
spend time at your resort on such a short trip. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you're putting focus on that. Then I would put I'd put a Pop Century into there. If we're talking resorts, because now I'm thinking of financially, I would just stay at Pop Century or Caribbean Beach.
Okay.
You have Skyliner access.
Yeah.
You do a park hopper because you've got easy access to Hollywood and to Epcot.
Okay.
And monorail, because with that park hopper, you can go right through Epcot
That's true.
from the back entrance and International Gateway on Skyliner through the front to the monorail to enjoy Magic Kingdom. Right?
Okay.
So that kind of
You
covers
got it
resort
better.
area, right?
Yeah.
What are your must eats for people that are coming to Disney once a year? They only got a day or two. Do you have a list of must eat items? I mean, Mickey bar sandwich, right? Dole Whip, pretzel. Are there dining establishments, lunch, dinner, something like that you think are a must do for you, or if you were recommending to somebody? I mean, again, this is somebody called you up, Rhonda, I'm going to Disney. It's only 1 or 2 days.
Oh Lord.
You know, where do I eat? Where do I dine? I mean, I'm going to probably pick stuff in park because, again, I think your focus should be on
Right.
enjoying the parks.
I mean, I would say Brown Derby,
Mhm.
like lounge though.
Yep.
So you can get the full menu, get
Yep.
there at 11.
Well, Le Cellier would be a good one for dinner to enjoy your time
That
in
would
Epcot
be.
and really take in that atmosphere and the culture that World Showcase
Mhm.
provides. Cinderella Royal Table.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, if you can get that in
You
there,
can get that, yeah.
I think that would be perfect.
Yeah.
What's what must do attractions for you
Well,
personally?
Tron, for sure.
Tron.
And Haunted Mansion.
Yep.
I mean, obviously.
Okay. What else?
I guess over at Hollywood, like all of them. But I love
And you can do
Toy
all of
Story
them in
Mania.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
You really can.
Yeah. So yeah,
You can accomplish a lot at Hollywood Studios, I think.
that's probably what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely think on that 2-day trip, you're doing Park Hopper. You know, we've talked about the add-on price for that is not that bad. And if
It's
you-
not. And then going back to Rita when we did it with
Mhm.
her, it was so worth it.
Okay, let's say 2 days, no Park Hopper. Then what are your two? Magic is one. One day you're doing Magic.
I would probably say Hollywood because Epcot just doesn't have a lot to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm kind of thinking, unfortunately, then we're not drinking around the world anymore. And we're not like, I mean, you go around. But if that is something you would do, then I would pick
Right,
that.
then I think that's a must.
But
And depending on what festival's going on in the time of year, I think
True.
can make a huge,
yeah.
you know, if we're looking at the holiday times around Christmas time, I would pick Hollywood Studios over Epcot for that second day.
100%.
And that's
at
what I would
night.
do. Yeah, and I would do Magic Kingdom day one.
Yeah.
Because that's the one where you're going to want a more relaxed second day because Magic Kingdom is going to be nuts, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to try and accomplish every possible thing.
True.
Happily Ever After.
Yeah.
You have to stick around and see Happily Ever
yeah.
After and fit that in, I
Yep.
think. And Indiana Jones stunt show if you're doing Hollywood, Frozen sing along.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I do think that you can get everything done in
And then
Hollywood
if you're
Studios
gonna
in a day.
do that, you know, I would, definitely splurge on Genie Plus if it's
Yes.
just a couple of days. you know?
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed. Especially, you know, if you're looking at trading something up as far as cost wise,
Yeah.
I would not get Park Hopper in exchange for Genie Plus so that you can maximize whatever two parks you do choose over those 2 days much more, as opposed to saying, well, I'm going to get Hopper and we're going to hop all around, but then not have the opportunity to do as much. It's kind of a waste of Hopper if you're not able to ride a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And see all the attractions. So, all right. And then final for this episode, and then we've got another half a dozen or so for next episode. From Jared says, love the pod. Thank you.
Thanks.
We're headed to WDW in mid-June when they are opening Tiana's for annual pass holder preview. Do you guys think the attention being paid to Tiana's will make the crowds at other parks a bit lighter? We have never been in the parks during a ride preview. This is a hard one to answer for the fact that they've never done a ride preview like this, right?
Yeah.
Because in the past, our annual pass holder ride previews have always been secure your day, secure your time. That gave you a park reservation pretty much to get in. You did the ride during your time, and a lot of people got out of there.
Yes.
For this one, because all you have to do is have your park reservation, right? And then you have no guarantee of riding.
Oh my goodness.
We hope you will. I'm hoping that they did the math right of the amount of park reservations for annual pass holders on preview days compared to the amount of virtual queues. The 1 p.m. one's going to throw everything because you can have any park reservation and still get a 1 p.m. It's going to be interesting to see how they do. Here's what I think will happen. You are going to have a huge percentage of people that are local that have, for example, a park reservation on June 13th, first day of previews. They're going to wake up that morning, their Magic Kingdom park reservation as a local, and they're going to go for the virtual queue. If they get it, they're going to go during virtual queue callback time. They're going to ride it, and they're going to leave.
Okay.
They're going to potentially then go to another park, right? One of the other three.
Yeah.
If they do not secure that virtual queue for that day, they're not going to go to Magic Kingdom.
Right. Okay.
And chances are, depending on what their schedule looks like, they may not go to one of the other three. I actually think for the first time, it could drive up crowds at the other three parks based on this preview, because if they get it or not.
Right.
And same thing, if you're making a point, and here's the frustrating part for people that are coming out of town. If you're an annual pass holder coming from out of town and you're making a trip specifically for the preview,
Which is kind
which
of
has
almost
zero
like us.
guarantee that you're going to ride, though.
Right.
You do not have a guarantee. I think you're going to steer clear of Magic Kingdom that day if you do not get
Is that
a
what
virtual
we're going to
queue.
do?
I'm getting a virtual queue.
Okay.
and we've got 2 days to try.
Okay.
For us, we're already planning to be there.
Okay.
I had a little bit of idea of when previews were possibly going to happen.
Ooh.
So for about 2 months, we had secured Magic Kingdom for June 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th.
We did?
We already had park reservations there, right? Now, those previews are 13th, 14th, and 16th because we were already planning to go for Father's Day weekend. We already had a hotel booked. Like, we were going to be there, and just in case, because I didn't know what was going to happen, but based on media previews, which are the 9th through 11th, based on just some other things, I thought pass holder previews could be the weekend we're there. Let me just get Magic Kingdom for every day. I had Magic Kingdom for June 9th.
Okay.
I don't even know why. I just did. So I think I actually booked it originally for like the 9th through the 16th because we had 3 days worth that we could use on our actual room stay, our resort stay for reservations. And then we had another up to 5 of our regular pass holder ones. So I booked like the whole week out.
Wow.
But I think for the first time, it could potentially drive traffic up.
Yeah.
Because if you do not get that virtual queue and you do not have the chance to ride Bayou Adventure on that day of the pass holder preview, you're not going to want to be in Magic Kingdom, is my opinion.
Unless they go and then they try to talk and be like, I don't know.
Please don't.
I mean, I agree.
Please don't. Because that's going to be a nightmare and headache. Another thing that we don't know yet is, can we, assuming we secure a virtual queue, and I'm just going to say the 7 a.m. one, assuming we secure a virtual queue on June 14th at 7 a.m., can we also secure a virtual queue for Sunday the 16th? We don't know that yet. And here's the problem with the system. And we're not trying to bogart reservations. I canceled all other reservations.
Mm-hmm.
I only have them now for the 14th and the 16th because those are the 2 days that we hope to be able to ride. The problem is that takes up a reservation potentially for someone else on Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a feeling that a lot of folks that are local, and it makes sense that they're going to do this, I don't blame them, they could easily have maxed out their 5 Magic Kingdom, their 5 reservations under Credit Pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have 5 reservations for 5 different days at Magic Kingdom on 5 different days of annual pass holder preview. They're going to ride just say once. That's 4 days that they're taking away reservations from other annual pass holders that maybe couldn't get them. That's on Disney. That's not on the annual pass holder. That's not
right.
That's understandable. They're going to secure all that. So I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming the way Disney's doing it.
But I'm also like, Magic Kingdom has other rides like Tron. And you still have to...
You can hold both. You're going to be able, during the preview, you're going to be able to hold both. You're going to be able to hold both a Tiana's Bayou Adventure virtual queue for annual pass holder preview and your standard Tron virtual queue.
So do I have to be on my phone and you have to be on
we've got some work to do.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's where it's interesting to see how this whole thing's going to work.
That's, no offense to anybody, but that's why another reason we would have it for Sunday, because we come home Sunday anyways. So you wouldn't be waking up to try to get Tiana's. You would be waking up basically to try to get Tron. But
I would wake up to try and get Tiana's. So does that make me a jerk?
No. I'm saying that we're already going to be there. So why wouldn't we?
Right.
I'm not saying we're...
Oh, I got you. I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Why wouldn't we try Tiana's again if we're already there?
Correct.
I agree completely.
Correct.
But is that wrong?
I don't think
that's our fault. I think that's Disney. Right. Okay, let's just say that you secure 5 days at Magic Kingdom. You have, right now, as a local, you have 5 days of park reservations at Magic Kingdom for 5 days of the annual pass holder preview. And let's assume that you are allowed to get a virtual queue for a preview each of those days. You have a pass holder who now rides Tiana's Bayou Adventure 5 times prior to its official opening on June 28th. Is that wrong? Knowing that potentially there's other annual pass holders who in turn do not get the opportunity to ride it because you've taken 5, and I'm not saying it is wrong. I understand those folks wanting to do that,
right.
Especially knowing that come June 28th, you're looking at virtual queue or Genie Plus in booking a lightning lane. It's not even going individual lightning lane. And Disney's already stated that it's not going to go that way for very long, that it sounds like they will implement standby not that long after opening. So,
because it's the same ride system, it's just the different.
Yeah, everything else has been reskinned and rethemed.
Right.
But that, and I fight with that. I fight with that very much.
I would fight with that too, because part of me's like, okay, let's just say I'm one over here that I'm like, I didn't get it and I'm sad. Well, I mean, what if I'm just a dummy that doesn't do it right or something? It's not your fault for you getting yours. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So, I mean, I think that's it. I think that's hard.
We've been through this in other ways. Now, this wasn't for a preview, but go back to the opening of Rise of Resistance. Okay. There were a lot of complaints, and understandably so, from people that were paying a lot of money to come to Disney, that are not annual pass holders, that are not locals, that did not secure a virtual queue for Rise of Resistance during their trip. They did not get to ride. Meanwhile, you have folks, and that could include us, who could be there for 5 days, who have a really good knowledge of everything, who secure a virtual queue every single day, and as locals, ride Rise of Resistance 5 days in a row. Meanwhile, the family from Denver never gets to ride it.
Well, the family from Denver should listen to us and know.
I do agree, but that's where you get into this moral. You get into this moral conversation of, is that right? I don't.
We have totally. I know, because and it is hard, but we have totally done things before where we've already done it and we have backed off and we have given that opportunity. I do remember that specifically.
But I can tell you right now, if we are given the opportunity to secure a virtual queue on June 14th and ride Tiana, and on June 16th and ride Tiana, I'm going to take advantage of that. Is that wrong?
I don't think so. Again, because we're already going to be there.
Right.
So,
but how does that make a local is already there? They live there. So then what is the difference? Let's just say for
I don't know, man.
S's and G's, okay? Let's just say that
shines and
let's just say that we ride it, the two of us. So we take 2 virtual queue spots on Friday out of whatever the pool is.
Okay.
Right? Then on Sunday,
1 million.
Sunday, we take 2 more. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And then let's just say there is another couple that lives out of state who schedule allows them to fly in on Saturday the 15th, and they've got to fly back out first thing on that Monday the 17th. They've got one shot during the annual pass holder preview to ride it on Sunday morning. Yeah. And technically we take their virtual queue after we rode it Friday.
But I don't think we're taking their virtual.
I know. It's just something to think about. And I don't have an answer. Other people may look at us and go, you guys already rode it. Why don't you give somebody else an opportunity?
Right.
And I don't think they're wrong. I also think there's a way, there's a method of saying, okay, well,
you know
you're
what
right.
we should do?
We had an opportunity to ride it twice. Therefore, we're going to take it. I don't see anything wrong with that either. You know what I mean?
I think when you get there, you should go show your virtual, and you should have tickets to give. And if somebody didn't get it and we're just standing around, you just can give them to them.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's going to be
very interesting to see how this all goes. Mm-hmm. Very, very. Another thing that will be and we will test that on the 14th. Can I secure Tiana's virtual queue for pass holder preview at the same time that you secure a virtual queue for Tron? On the 28th, can I secure Tiana's because I'm gonna go ahead and at midnight on the 27th, going into the 28th, I'm going to purchase Genie Plus.
You're going to stay up till midnight?
I'll set an alarm. to purchase Genie Plus because it could sell out that day, being that we've never seen this. Remember, Tiana's part of Genie Plus, not individual Lightning Lane. Your shot to get Genie Plus is at midnight.
Okay.
It technically could sell out.
Okay.
Then at 7 a.m., can you book the Lightning Lane under Genie Plus while also booking the virtual queue?
Oh, gosh. You're hurting my head, man.
Mine too. I got to go back and study Genie Plus because we're going to use Genie Plus that day, right? We're going to use it on the 28th. We're going to be there. We have to purchase it for Tiana. We'll see if we can ride twice that day, you know? So it really is. It's just a moral conversation that I think is, and I'd love to hear people's thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, whether they think that's right, whether they think that's wrong. Again, we don't know how it's all gonna pan out. I hope Disney knows. We've seen the way
they
that Disney
probably do
handles
not
technology.
know.
You know, was Tron such a nightmare in securing those annual pass holder preview times that they decided, hey, time to give it something else a try? Is it because this is reskinned?
Right.
Like, you know, we haven't
it's
had...
Not, right. It's not
we haven't
a
had
new
this,
ride.
Right, we haven't had this since... Well, you can't even compare Mickey and Minnie's because they gutted the building. It's not like Mickey and Minnie's is on the same ride system and the same everything as Great Movie Ride was. You know what I mean?
100%.
You know, and everything else has been new. And obviously you can't compare Cosmic to Universe of Energy or anything. But so, this is going to be interesting. But we will be there. We will be there on June 14th, 15th, and 16th, trying to secure those pass holder previews, along with a couple other things you don't know about.
Oh, goodness.
And then we will be there on the 27th and 28th. We'll be there on the 28th for the opening. We will have early entry access by that 30 minutes, which I think would be fun to get there. I'm excited to see with merch. It's one thing we haven't seen yet. Like, what will opening day and Tiana merch look like? That's going to be super excited. We saw the Mark had the hat. I don't know if it's a cast member only hat that had the stars on the front for Ray and Evangeline, and then Tiana's Bayou Adventure logo on the back of the hat. I hope that's for sale because I'm getting one of those. But we will be there for all of that and some other stuff coming up. I'm deciding if I just spring it on Rhonda or not when we're there that weekend, or if
do I know that we're going to be there?
It's
all
like,
on
our
am
calendar.
Working?
I hope not. It's all written in our calendar. But yeah, so that'll tie it up for this one. If you did not hear your question answered, you will hear it on the very next episode on Tuesday. Of course, make sure you subscribe. You get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Let us know your thoughts on this whole way that we ended this kind of tangent of a conversation. But it was really a great question that Jared asked about that.
Yeah.
And I think we answered it. I actually think the other three parks could potentially be busier. I think people will drive.
Possibly.
It'll drive folks there who don't get, or again, simple fact is they're not going to want to be in Magic Kingdom. Even if once they ride, if you get that one, if you get the virtual queue for the preview, I think they're going to want to get out of there and go to another park. So Magic Kingdom actually could be the place to be, especially over in like Frontierland area. It'll be super interesting to see that. But yeah, let us know what you think on social media at Main ST Magic on all the social channels. Of course, go ahead and join the Main Street Magic community on Facebook. And if you're out there, we would be super thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.